and then you hide the last three parameters, and then you just use the Tenkan-sen and Kiju-sen. So what are you waiting here for? You are waiting for a consolidation for a consolidated area. So for example, here, as you can see, this is an example. This is an example. So we had a consolidated area here, you can see, and then we had a breakout. So what we do here with the strategy, we wait for the lines to cross and expand. So you would probably get into the trade just right here. You probably wouldn't even get into it. It would be too late. This one. So here also some consolidation, and then here you can see the lines expanding. The Ichimoku lines, they are expanded. You can get the candle here. To get all of this distance here, which is like 40 minutes, it's like 40 pips, which is not bad. I just added like stochastic just to see like better entry points as well for myself, because I'm just used to it. Also here we have a good example here as well, yeah? So here we have a good example. So we had a consolidated area, and then the Bollinger Bands, you could see that it's expanding. So after this candle, you could get into the trade. And then what you do, you only set your stop loss just below like the moving average, the baseline of the Bollinger Bands, just around here. And then what you do with take profit, you either carry on watching the chart itself, or you can also set a trading stop. So if you have an open trade, you can just click right, click left, and then there is a trailing stop. So what it does, it lets you, so you set a trailing stop. So if you set a trailing stop at 10 pips, so if, for example, it goes up 50 pips and then it goes down 10 pips, it's going to automatically close your order at 40 pips. So you don't have to watch the graphs that much. It helps a little bit, but it's literally up to you, just the way you prefer trading, like how much time you have and stuff like that.
You can scroll a little bit back on this one.
This one?
Yeah. So basically, I will just recap here. I have like some drawing tools. So what we are looking for, Bojan, is here. We have like this consolidated market. So we wait for like a kind of straight market. The Bollinger Bands here are 68. So it's like huge amount. Basically, it's a very smooth line looking to a lot of bars in the past. So what we want is we want to see those two lines. You see a green line and here you see like a green line and a red line. So these are the Ichimoku lines. After you edit Ichimoku, you delete all the other things, the cloud and stuff. You can do that very easily. So when you see here, basically that the lines are overlapping. So that is what we call a cross. Here you see that the cross is like final, but when the lines are over each other, it's already good. So basically in this part, the big circle, when the lines are crossing, we wait for the first line, for the first candle to close above the mid-level. So this candle here is completely above the midline of Bollinger Band. So when this one is closed, we basically get in. So we get in. It's with my name, funny. Hello. Okay, this is not working too good. So we get in, here's the arrow. We get in at this first bar, and then we basically ride it the way up all the way there. So when to get out basically is that when you see that the lines are crossing again, which is here, and of course at that moment you saw a few green bars, so you wait till this happens, and probably like the second option to get out is here when it really crosses. So when you see like the first red bars coming, you get out. Of course, you can also see that here, that the red bars are forming, but you see that the red line and the blue line here are so far, that's not that smart to draw, but you see here that the, let me do this one. So you see here that the red and the blue line are so far away from each other that it's safe to stay in the trade. A little bit other color indeed, white. So here you see, that's good.
What is this?
Here you see that it's red, and it's smart to stay in there because you see here like the big difference in the lines. So when it becomes like close to each other, like here, you want to start deciding to get out. It's kind of the end. So this is a really nice move. Even when you are just saying like, wow, I'm happy enough with this movement here. I cannot calculate how much pips it is, like Saule can. But
Let me check.
Like from that candle,
That's
basically there, it's
pips.
like, it's 35 pips. Like it's nice. It's not great. Like the total amount will probably be more like, okay, 50 pips. So we are looking here for something between 50 and 70 pips. This is a technique that's also used widely on cryptocurrency. And there you can use even like get much bigger ones. So in all this other part, we do nothing. So basically we are constantly, let me clear this out. Okay, no, it's okay. So basically we're constantly looking to a new graph, and we are looking for a consolidated area. Ooh. This green button here somewhere, you can like go to the end directly. This one. No, the red one, the green one. Yeah. So here you see a downtrend now. So it's not a good option at this moment. Actually, it doesn't really matter how much spread you have. So you can do it on like all the popular currencies. You can do this with like how you say, with like big lot sizes like scalping, because the risk is mostly quite small. What Saul earlier said is like we are going to put like our stop loss at this midline. So this would be a consolidated market. We go this direction and the stop loss is here. And the difference between those two will probably just be like, mostly it's like 20 pips or less. In this case, it's 50 because it's not really consolidated. So let's look for another pair, because what we really want is like a very good squeeze. Like here also you see a good squeeze. And that means that probably the distance between this one and this one, can you measure that one, Saul? Because probably this is like, you see it's like 20 pips, 24 pips. So if we would go in here for the long term, a buy, then we just have like a 20 pips stop loss, and we put our, let me all clear this off. So we put our stop loss at the middle line. So this is like 1600. I actually got this trade before. What I wait for a little bit here is that I still see a straight line. I want to see a curve. So basically when this curve, I don't know if I can do that with this. When this makes like this real curve, then I will get in. And it needs to be outside of the Bollinger Bands, of course. It needs to be touching. And then our this is our baseline, and we want to have the whole candle, so this candle here, to be closed above the midline, but all those lines are above the midline. So this is on 30 minutes. It works like on 15 minutes, 1 hour and more. Now you also saw that this was like a 15-minute, sorry, on a 30 minute it was 20 pips. If you go to 15 minutes.
Oh.
I can't click on that.
I'm just literally looking at your screen and I'm just like, why are you waiting for me?
So if I go, is this the end of the graph?
Nope.
Okay, here, if I would measure like this level on the 15 measure mark, it will probably be like really just a few pips.
30 pips.
Okay, it's 30 pips on 15 minutes. You mostly see on 15 minutes, like it's really, really small.
I'm gonna increase it for you so that it wouldn't look like smaller pips.
Okay, so it looks bigger now. But basically we also see that at this moment the bars are not above the Bollinger Bands like here. So we want to wait for that. This one is too early. But we see at least here that it has a curve and it here has the other curve. So actually, if I clear all of this out, on the 15-minute one, you see, this is what we want to look. So we see like, okay, straight line, and then curve, and curve outside. So if I want to go in for a buy, I'm mostly looking for this curve here. It needs to go the wrong direction. It needs to go down for an uptrend. So if that happens, it expands. Now we had the crossing here already. So it is in an uptrend from like this first level. So basically you can get in from the candle that's after the curve. So you see the curve, you see here all the candles are basically already above the baseline. You get in and a buy, and your stop loss is here at the baseline level. And you would see that you already would have like few pips up. It's not a lot. Yeah, so basically you can measure from this point how much stop loss is.
Yeah. I've just started using my laptop.
Beautiful lines.
No, I just started using my laptop for trading. I always use my phone.
So this is 20 pips up, but definitely still staying in there.
20 down.
And 20 down. So if you use like a trailing stop of 20 pips, so that's like the second part of the trade. Like we are going to get in this level. So we get in here. Our stop loss is set to this white line.
20 pips.
It's minus 20 pips. And when we reach the level, let me make it green. So when we reach this level now, it's plus 20. We automatically move our stop loss to this level by using a trailing stop. So if you would use a trailing stop, they put like the stop loss, the new stop loss at this green line and not anymore here. So the stop loss is moved to break even automatically, which means if now the next line, let's use like one more color like blue. Let's say it's going to 40 pips here. Then the stop loss will automatically move with it up to around this level. So what a trailing stop does is it's like basically constantly moving with your trade, and it stays like behind 20 pips behind. So it's 200 points. So when this happens, you can just constantly go with the flow of your trade. And when it goes down, actually, so let's go back to green. When this goes down, then you just get stopped out at 0. So when from this moment it doesn't grow and goes to 0, when it goes up further, it will like move your stop loss with you, and it will like goes out at your take profit level. If let's say this blue line is your take profit level, it just closes out. If it goes back, it will close at like plus 20 pips, but it will never go to, let's use like a red one. It will never go to break even anymore, and it will definitely never go to minus anymore. So by doing this, you kind of guarantee yourself a break-even trade, and then a plus 20 trade, plus 25, plus 35, and then like, oh, boom, it closes out here at 30 euro instead of 40. That's okay, because you're constantly like your trading stop is moving with you.